do. Okay, so we've already done basic character design, put in animation states for your character. Now we're going to do a little bit of block design. I'll get you started on that, and then I'll show you the code of how to make the character move. Okay, so I'm just going to share a screen here, and okay, so you can see my Zoom meeting there. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to construct 3. And then I'm going to go directly to construct 3 off that top link. And if I don't want to update right now, I'll update later. So then I want to go to open off that home page, right? And I want to open from file. And we're going to go into downloads. And probably, oh, it's getting complicated. I hope this is the one. Okay, let's check the player state. Yeah, it looks like that's the one. Check the player state, make sure he has this. Yep, he's got his default state and he's got his walk state there. Oh, I still didn't clean up the walk state. Oh well. Upward and onward. Okay. So if we start talking about basic block design, I'll just give you one example of what I'm going to do, but I want you to redesign all your blocks. So if I go to Pixel Art Platform, platformer, Pixel Art Platformer, and maybe block. Yeah, so if you look at these various examples, you can see that that's like one example. You can tell that's from Mario. If you look at other tile sets, you'll have different textures and whatnot. And these are how they make the textures in games look like different things, right? Those are some good examples, actually. You see you got dirt there, whatever, rock, maybe gravel. So that's kind of interesting too. Yeah, all the different elements there. That's a good example of like game design broken down. So what we're going to do is I want you to make all of the blocks in your game look like different substances. So if I go back to construct, and you can actually move these blocks around. So I'm going to flatten this block so that I want to make it into grass. I don't want it to have to repeat. You see it snaps to the grid. And then what I'm going to do here is you can either click on in the game or you can go to your object types. I'll probably just click on it right here, and I'm going to clear data, and then I'm going to go to a base color. So I want to make this look like dirt. Brown dirt is usually around an orange, and then you lighten it up a little bit. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to do a general fill, and then maybe I got the 1 eraser on. I'll put that up to a 3. I want to erase the top here, but I want to make it look a little bit gravelly. Your character might float a little bit on that actually, so maybe let's just put that back in, and maybe we'll just go to the very top a little bit. Okay. So then the next step is I'm going to push it up a little bit, and I'm going to probably fill with the same amount, maybe 3 or 4. What does 5 look like? You don't really want this to be too obvious, so I'm actually going to darken some of these down. And all I'm trying to do is put in like a loose textured pattern that's not too recognizable. And then I'm going to lighten that a bit. I'm going to take my size down to 2. You can kind of play around with like the ones that you already did. If I slide this down a bunch, it'll be a more subtle pattern in the background there, so I can put in a base texture. And I can cut into some of the light patterns that I've already done, so kind of messes it up a little bit. I'm going to slide right back up and then start putting in lighter bits. And then highlights. I don't know. Is that light enough? Probably. Okay, so there's my dirt. Now I'm going to switch to a dark green. So basically, when you're adding textures like this and you want to make it look like substances, you're trying to dark green. Ugh, that's not very dark. Well, yeah, I'm going to fill in the top here. So when you're filling in these different textures, it's the same shading method that we use to shade the character. It's just pushing the color slider up and down. And so I'm going to give this green a little bit of a highlight as I go. I'm going to push it up a little bit. We'll put that up to 4 pixels. Oof, that's pretty light. Maybe something like that. And then a little bit of a top layer. 2. I don't want to be too obvious with it. So here we go. So there's my basic texture. So remember that depending on where your game happens, like if it's in a cave or if it's in a city, you might have different texture blocks. I'll just say mine's like a nature game. For some reason, Moonface Man is out in the woods, I guess. And there's his little dirt texture. So if I quickly did the other ones, I'm just going to, I'll take that down to gray. These will be gray blocks. Said I wasn't going to do them all, but I kind of like to do them all just to show you guys. And then you can also go a little bit chunky too. You can use the line tool to line things up if you want to like sort of put cracks and stuff and whatnot. I'm going to put that as the top texture, like it's cracking down stone or something. And then I'm going to do a fill right here, here, here. And this might look a little bit weird, but back to the brush. And take it down to 2. Take it up a little bit more. So yeah, there's not a lot of texture there. So there's my moving block, right? That's not the best texture because as you can see, it's a little too obvious with those little cracks. I should probably break that up a little bit more. I'll turn this into crystal. On the outside, so I'll probably do some more crystal stuff. Move this down a bit. It's a green crystal. So you can break stuff up in blocks too. It doesn't have to be all like the same. I don't know if this is a crystal or just a messy rock. Okay. And then do the same type of shading here. I'll put dark. Actually, I'll put dark on this side. And then a little bit lighter. And then go a little bit lighter. So there's my deals. If it doesn't show, you just pull it down to where it'll show and then not repeat. So I'm gonna go right here. Those are my jump through tiles. And those are the 3 main tiles that you have to do. So now you're all done there. Everything's designed. We're gonna do backgrounds in the next step, but I just wanna show you how to put in the animation code right now. So what you do is, so when you look in the projects bar, you have a bunch of different stuff. You have the layouts, which are the levels. You have the objects, which are the objects that go in the levels. And then the event sheet is where we find all the code. So the event sheet's right there, and then it's also on a tab at the top of the screen. So if you go click on the event sheet, you see like all the basic code that comes with the game, right? You can see we have limited events because this is the free version. So what I want to do is I want to add event for the player, and then when the player is moving, we're going to trigger that walking animation, okay? So that's how all code works. You can see that you have an event and then you have an action right there. So if you add the event, then you add the action for the event when the player is moving. So add event player. Now in this, so I click player, right? So that's the person we're moving. In this, you have to scroll down till you see the platform section, and you select the is moving, and you go next, and then you go add action, and again, we're going for player, so remember that it's always the player object we're checking, and then we're going to set animation, and the reason we put in walk in all lowercase is because we have to click between those quotation marks up there, and we go W-A-L-K, all lowercase. So it has to be in those quotations. So if I do that, and then I test the game. This test's faster today. We'll see what happens. Come on. You can do it. I think I want to get a faster computer. This is ridiculous. There we go. Okay, so you can see that now the character walks with the animation we put in, but there's a problem, right? Whenever he stops, he's got his little foot stuck out there. And that means that it's just running the animation state. It's not going back to the default state when we stop. So we have to put in a separate piece of code for that. So again, we're going for the player, add event, the player, and then we're going to down to platform again, right? Last time we did is moving. This time we go compare speed. So if we go compare speed, the default is comparison is equal to 0. So that means when the player is not moving at all, I just click done. I don't have to change those numbers. When platform speed equals 0, add action, player, set animation like we did the last time, but this time it's default and it's with a capital D because that's how the game starts with its default state. That's what it looks like. Default, D-E-F-A-U-L-T between the quotations. Click that on done. And then if we test this code, then we can see that the player will move. Oh, just died. But then when the player stops, he'll stop in his or her default state, okay? So what we're gonna do, now I want you to get all your blocks designed really nicely, because this is an art class essentially. It's a media art class, which means it's computer art. So try to focus on as much as you can as the design of the game. And try to put that code in. If it doesn't work, you can always go back to this video because I'm showing it to you on screen right now, right? So you could always pause and go over what I did.